Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you, Come Meteor.
Try to keep your guard up.
Got ya.
Where do I even begin? Guys, I finally got to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and it was everything I was hoping the successor to Final Fantasy VII Remake would be. And I found some really great things that I can't wait to share with you guys in this video and follow-up streams. I don't think we can cover everything in one single video. This is going to take multiple. Special thank you to Square Enix for inviting me to experience the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth demo. This demo that I played is the exact TGS demo that content creators last month and attendees at TGS were able to play. The Nibelheim and Junon levels were exactly the same. But knowing this, I made sure to experiment with the options I still had questions about. Unfortunately, due to the timing, I was not able to answer all of my questions, but that's going to be fine for the future, whenever we get to tackle this game yet again. In my demo, I tried to go everywhere that I could. I swam to Max's Island, I pet all the chocobos I could find, I even tried to bypass the demo's barriers, but yet, there still was not enough time. And while I was satisfied with the answers I received, I now only find myself having more questions. All in a good way though, I promise. It's been a long time coming. I know many of you guys have been waiting for this, and if it's your first time here, hit that subscribe button and notification bell so we can help raise that number to 50% or higher. And again, I will be breaking this down live with you guys, and you don't want to miss out on that. We have a lot to talk about. It is important to note that this demo build that we played is not a final representation of the game. A lot of stuff I will be detailing may be subject to change. The demo build is early and had restrictions on certain gameplay elements, world traversing, and even the lighting in some areas needs some tweaking. So rest assured, the final build will be different, and a lot of mechanics may function in a whole another way. In my playthrough, due to the builds I was using and created, I found enemies were getting disintegrated really quickly, especially in the Nibelheim portions. In Junon, this did happen, but I was able to restart a lot of fights in the wild thanks to the world hunts. I did this often so I can go back and test things out, but first things first, we have to talk about probably my favorite find so far. In Nibelheim, I found a support blue materia, which are typically my favorite kinds of materia because they often enhance gameplay in the best ways. This materia was called Level Up Materia, which when you pair it to whichever materia of your choosing, it levels it up by 1. I experimented with this on First Strike materia, HP up, and even simple green magic. However, once I found a hidden Comet materia before the last boss, before we fight Materia Keeper, aka now changed to Materia Guardian, everything changed. Comet materia only has 2 stars, meaning it needed 1 level to hit max. So I slapped Level Up materia together with Comet, and ladies and gentlemen, I present to you, Come Meteor.
Try to keep your guard up.
Got ya.
You have no idea how satisfying that was to land on the last hit on that enemy. Unfortunately, you get Comet materia towards the end of that level, and enemies would not respawn in this build, so I can only use it once. But I'm glad to have used it at the end of the fight in a very beautiful way to wrap it up. Comet materia also exists in Junon and is equipped to Red 13. However, the Junon demo did not allow me to customize character loadouts. Big sad, because there is a lot of great combinations that exist in that portion, but we cannot access just yet. Of course, as soon as I started off, I went into settings and had to adjust the camera, zoom it out way more for in battle and also out of battle. And also I changed the target swap to D-pad instead of right stick. This makes it so that you can move the camera around without swapping targets in battle. Very helpful. This also works the same exact way it does in Remake. Synergy materia, my absolute favorite in the game, makes a return. Obviously, in Nibelheim, I'm going to abuse and use Sephiroth as much as I can, so best to have synergy on Cloud. Not to mention, I mean, we can't customize Sephiroth, of course. Initially, Cloud had synergy paired with fire, and it works exactly the same, where if you're controlling someone else, in this case Sephiroth, and use any ability, the AI Cloud will spam fire or whatever synergy paired magic slotted in. I was dead set on exploring the functionality with double magic materia, which is brand new in Rebirth. We have a lightning and wind materia that we can find in the Nibelheim flashback, and later on in Junon, we get fire and ice materia, which unfortunately you can't even use. These are pairable with synergy, so I was wondering how exactly would this work? Will it alternate the magic? Like, will it use wind first? Will it use lightning after that? Is it weakness dependent? What exactly is happening here? Well, so far after pairing them, the AI cloud would only use wind materia and never lightning. Again, this is an early build, so I have no idea how this functions. Some enemies may have been more weak to wind magic in general, or it may have been more stronger and deal more pressure. I mean, in Remake, lightning materia, lightning magic in general, dealt high damage, hit really quickly, but also gave the least amount of pressure gauge. Whereas before, it's BltzZ, Firaga, then Aeroga in terms of which ones deal the most pressure damage, lightning being at the bottom. But whenever Cloud would indeed use it, as Sephiroth used abilities, the results were still awesome. We burned through fights like nothing. Words can't express just how amazing this combination is. Even in Remake, if you guys haven't played that yet, or if you're gearing up for another playthrough of Remake, please use Synergy. In Integrate, if you're playing the Integrate version on PC or PlayStation 5, please use Synergy Materia. It's so good. I even have a video and detailed guides on how exactly it works and just how busted you can even break the game. I'll be linking it below for you guys to check out. Sephiroth feels way too polished for this to just be a one-off thing, so I'm hoping that we could get more play segments as him in the future because he is way too fun to use. In the air, characters can use abilities and even their triangle attacks as well. Sephiroth's Pierce Bar, which he can build up with attacks and whatnot, turns into Sky Shatter when he's in the air. But unfortunately, I did not get to test it. Sephiroth's Battle Dodge is probably the best gap closer in the game. He literally teleports to the enemy, regardless if they are in the air or far away on the ground. He is up in their face. In Remake, air combat was weird and clunky. Intermission did fix this with Yuffie's DLC, and the devs have mentioned that they want to fix this for Rebirth too. It did take me a few tries, but I found that everyone can jump attack enemies that are in the air by holding the attack button down. Previously in Remake, you needed to stand underneath them and sort of time your attacks to go in the air. But in Rebirth, if you hold down the attack button as Cloud, Tifa, and oh my god, I forgot to test this out with Red, they actually latch onto the enemy and can use abilities in the air to extend combos and bring on more damage. In the demo, Sephiroth was the only character that had Aga spells available, which can stun lock bosses and enemies still. However, this time around, they have been nerfed slightly because they cost 2 ATB bars to use an Aga spell. The devs really want us to find other ways to stun lock and destroy bosses, which does blow my mind because it means that they've been watching my videos as well as many other content creators too. Since 2020 and 2021, I've made a video series called Changes That Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 Needs, and in those videos, I mentioned that purple materia such as parry, deadly dodge, and others need to be removed and integrated into the characters by default, which they went ahead and did in Rebirth. Dodging with circle is a parry dodge for everyone, and it has the animations sped up and they travel even further. It feels more fluid too, making evading attacks a lot easier. And yes, Tifa can cancel combos with her parry dodge still. Thank you, dev team. I really appreciate that. And deadly dodge is also integrated as well. You need to dodge with circle and hold the attack button down. Doing this will trigger the deadly dodge attack animation, which you can see Tifa doing here with her Tatsu kicks. Cloud's deadly dodge is now a blade beam slash where he chucks projectile slashes at enemies, but his AoE circle attack does regroup and CC smaller enemies, as we've seen before in other people's playthroughs of the Rebirth demo. Also in that series, I did ask that party members be present at all times and be switchable mid-battle like in Final Fantasy X. They went ahead and did half of that. We have the party always present, but unfortunately, we can't switch mid-battle. You can't have it all, I guess, but it would be an awesome addition if they went ahead and added that in, so I hope they could still do it. But there is one negative here that hurts my heart to its core. They changed one of the most used abilities by me and probably many others as well when it comes to Remake. Get ready for the bad thing. Well, my personal bad thing. Tifa's Focus Strike, which is present in Rebirth and was one of her main bread and butter moves in Remake to chain and cancel combos while building up crazy pressure, has been nerfed. It no longer refunds ATB. Big rip. It still builds pressure and dodges, but you can't chain spam it like you normally used to. Of course, it's still early in the game. Maybe we'll have another move that does it. I really hope so. I mean, Cloud had a move just like this too called Disorder, and it functioned in the same way where it refunded ATB. Well, for Tifa, her Focus Strike refunded 3/4 of an ATB, whereas Cloud's, I think, was about half, maybe a little less than half. But for now, I mean, it doesn't seem like we have ATB refunding moves. I would even take, with all the additions and changes that they've made so far, I would love if they went ahead and they made another purple materia that made it so that whatever abilities and moves you're using, maybe they put one of these in the game, will refund ATB. Like maybe like a quarter or function in the same way. I feel like that could be a thing. That could very well be a thing, and I'm looking out for that because there's all kinds of possibilities with materia, and especially for ATB functions. I would not mind if that was the case, because then that would mean you wouldn't have to force use Tifa in every single party in order to synergy spam with the other ones. You could give somebody else that purple materia that would make their moves refund ATB slightly. Fingers crossed, I'm looking for that. Cloud still has his triple slash, and it's still very good and deletes enemies very quickly. Red 13 does have smaller range, but his hold down attack button helps him to close the gap, while spin dashing attacking enemies all around him. It's great for AoE in groups. Aerith's Radiant Ward is a complete standout with her kit, because while you're standing in it, well, everyone's standing in it, everyone's spell casting cannot be interrupted. But not only that, Aerith's normal attacks become lasers that deal more damage and hit enemies instantly. Her triangle attack, Tempest, has been moved to her hold down square attack and has been buffed to automatically use a fleeting familiar, which lasts about 30 seconds. And every time she does the big attack, the familiar will launch attacks with her. So if we could combine synergy to her, she would be just as broken as ever. But sadly, in this demo for Junon, Tifa, for some reason, has synergy locked to her. I was very sad about this, actually. I tried to like spam click it to see if I could probably remove it off of her, but that wasn't working at all. Barret has a new ability. Unfortunately, Barret's kit seems pretty much unchanged. He does have a new ability called bonus rounds, where if he uses it, it uses 1 ATB and it makes his damage and pressure damage overall be increased. It looks like it's pretty good. It's pretty solid, especially against flying enemies and whatnot. I do hope that if there is a future demo, we get a little bit more flexibility in terms of customizing like the loadouts and also more moves for Barret. And yes, it actually blows my mind about synergy skills. So synergy skills are the free synergy attacks that cost no ATB, and actually they build up ATB for both characters. For each main character, the synergy tag abilities are going to be different, which means if you're controlling Sephiroth, you will have access to a different set of synergy skills when Cloud is a secondary party. However, if you're controlling Cloud, you have access to other ones such as Void Shatter and Counterfire. And that's the case for all the other characters. Tifa and Cloud have a synergy skill called Soaring Flurry, while Tifa and Aerith have a synergy skill called Heavenly Ascent, which lets Tifa jump up in the air and carry enemies up to combo them. However, if you're controlling Cloud, Cloud and Aerith have a move called Spellblade, which pretty much works in the same animation as Void Shatter, that Sephiroth and Cloud skill. And also Cloud and Tifa have Power Cleave, which also functions the same way as Void Shatter, where it just seems to be a color swap in terms of how the move actually looks, but I don't see anything in regards to what effects they do. Aerith and Cloud's Spellblade is a little bit more of a pinkish purplish color, whereas Power Cleave is more of a yellow and white-ish color. I hope we do get some more unique options, because it seems like there's a lot of room for these types of moves. But when it comes to synergy skills, it looks like these are locked as individual things for specific pairings, whereas synergy abilities are a shared team-up attack that deals pretty big damage. In this build, ATB generation does feel a bit slower when compared to Remake, but that might also be due to the free synergy skills being a thing, because free synergy skills build up ATB also and cost essentially nothing, no resources at all, and you can borderline spam them. They don't do crazy damage, but they do build ATB for both characters. However, there is a way to somehow gain back ATB. In this clip right here, I should only be able to do 2 focus strikes with Tifa, but if you watch carefully, I'm able to do 3, and I actually do gain an ATB back here, which I don't know why this happens. I don't know if Skill Master is embedded into characters now, or if this is a mechanic tied to a later portion of the game that has yet to been revealed, and it might be like weapon related, because there are lots of weapon skill trees that we can go through. Unfortunately, I could not check any of that stuff. However, this is promising to seeing ATB refunding is possible, but we'll have to figure out how that works, and hopefully we can manipulate it. And that pretty much covers all the scripted details when it comes to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and my gameplay demo. I will be doing a stream very soon, probably maybe the same day that this video goes up, so this way we can do a live Q&A. I would love to hear from you guys what you guys think, and also any questions that I might be able to answer, because there are a lot of things that I was able to answer for myself, but I know a lot of you guys might have various different questions, and if I can't help you guys out with that, I would absolutely love to. So what did you guys think? What did you think of the gameplay? What did you think of my findings? And also comment below anything else. I'd love to get a discussion going with you guys and help answer a few more questions. Stay tuned for the live stream. We're gonna be going live in maybe a few hours, maybe the day after. We'll have to see. It was an absolute blast, and again, I'm really appreciative of Square Enix for giving me the opportunity and inviting me to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I absolutely loved hearing what my other content creator friends had to say about the game, hearing about their experiences, and also them sharing those details with us. So I'm just glad to be able to get that opportunity and be able to do the same. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you are new. More Final Fantasy videos are on the way. You don't want to miss them. My name is BltzZ, and thanks for watching.